So, welcome back, friends. We saw a good rise in the Nasdaq, up 399 points, and the Dow Jones up more than 600 points today. On the back of expectations of very good Nvidia results, also the more important thing that President Donald Trump says that the talks in Iran are in its final stages. There is no doubt that he has said it before as well, and many times later on the events have escalated. But I personally believe that uh, President Trump is serious and Iran is also serious to come and to a final conclusion, a concluding agreement. And that has led to oil prices fall by 5.5% on the Brent and the WTI. I believe that this phenomenon can be very optimistic for the US tech companies, the AI companies, and also many countries across the world now, because now the smart money will go elsewhere as well. The emerging economies, which have been hit hard by rising crude oil prices, if this agreement actually comes about, which I believe it will, I'm sticking my neck out to say it should come in soon. So that should be very beneficial for the Asian economies, African economies, which are reeling under tremendous pressure from high oil prices and absence of fertilizers, crude stock, derivatives of oil, and which has impacted their manufacturing, production. So I think this would be a good reprieve if this act finally comes about. However, in the run up to the agreement, possible agreement, I would say, one should be careful over the next few days because there are many things which can turn topsy turvy. So, next couple of days, Thursday and Friday particularly, need to be a little cautious of the markets. This is just my opinion. President Trump had earlier this week said that he had called off renewed military strikes against Iran to give more time for diplomacy at the request of Gulf Arab allies, Qatar, Emirates, Saudi Arabia. He's now, of course, talking about the negotiations having reached final stages with Iran. But yes, many times he has turned against, and there are many like Citibank who believe that market is underpricing the risk of a long disruption to oil supplies in Hormuz. It expects the Brent to trade up to $120 per barrel in the near term. It appears, therefore, that the Iranian regime will disrupt the flows of oil for some more time. And oil prices could even approach $200 per barrel in a worst case scenario, according to some analysis by Wood Mackenzie. And the same firm says that, however, prices would fall if the US and Iran reach a quick peace that opens Hormuz by June. So then what is a person expected to derive from this analysis? You are saying that oil prices can go to 200 if no deal is reached, and it can come to 120. Now let's say I am an investor. What am I going to do? I don't know. You're not giving me any answer as to what will happen. This is the problem. Many analysts are just in the habit of, as a matter of work, they don't want to stick their neck out one way or the other. That leads to a lot of confusion. Is oil headed further north, or is it now receding south? Because many times last few times it has turned south only to, head back once again and catch many of the oil bulls on the wrong track. But the greatness of analysis is you take one of these alternatives and say where do you think things can happen. As I mentioned, next 2 days I would be a little cautious about various negotiations going on. But I believe that over the medium term, prices of oil should be helping the stock markets, should be heading a little south. And all the forecasts that I'm giving in our telegram groups for the Indian markets and for the American markets are medium term in nature for the time being, as I believe there's going to be some further twist in the geopolitical scenario in a couple of months' time. But enjoy. If an outlet does open, a window does open, enjoy that opening as well, because it can help people who's, especially investors in countries where the currencies have been badly hit, such as India. That can turn a little bit if the oil does recede. Also, if the currency improves, then you may see more foreign investor inflows, and the oil prices coming down will be helpful, because the consumers who are rattled by rising oil prices at the gas station can see a reversal over there. So I think one of the prime beneficiaries, should this oil price really come down, is not only the US consumer and not only the US stocks, but also the Asian companies, the Asian stock markets, the countries which have been in Africa, in other parts of the world which have been badly hit. And among the prime ones where the currencies have fallen sharply, Indian rupee has been one of the worst performing currencies in this West Asia crisis. And that would probably be among the primary beneficiaries. The rupee, you can see, starting to stage a comeback. And once the rupee starts moving up, you can see the markets also beginning to look up. But as I told you, this window is of a limited time duration, because I believe that there is another series of crises which are coming up. But you must enjoy this window for many reasons, such as it opens outlet for people who have got huge portfolios. There could be some select sectors which may do much better than the other sectors. Also, you may find that the sentiment that improves will bring in a lot of foreign investors and foreign money, which have been avoiding, because naturally they move into those areas where the performance has been poor for the year. So whichever countries have been impacted the most by the West Asia crisis, they will naturally also benefit the most. So it's a win-win scenario. American stocks would benefit, but other countries would do as well. So this is how I very clearly sticking my neck out, taking one stand, not that if oil goes to 200, if oil goes to 120. I was reading also today some economists on the global scale, and I will not name them, as it is incorrect. They were talking about that oil can move so much either direction that it would be, even if the Strait of Hormuz were to open in the month of June, yet the oil could be sticky. It would take time for it to revert back. And this has affected the at the grassroots level, the economy, which would be difficult to revert back. I don't think so. In fact, I think that there are some countries and their economies, and there are some countries where the governments are probably, they did not raise the gas prices so far, and now they are in a rush to raise them. They should be watching the situation over the next few days and weeks, maybe a week at least, and then may come to a conclusion. Rushing at a point where you raise it, then you may have to bring it down to be able to favor the consumer sentiment would not be a step in the right direction. To get to know more where the Indian markets are headed in the short to medium term, do join our Premium Plus, which gives you 10 to 12 days predictions in advance and good multi-baggers. For the US markets, you may join our Prime Plus Telegram group, which also gives you some good predictions of where the US markets are headed in the short to medium term. For the US markets, you can WhatsApp us on 732-732-2720. Have a nice rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.